Hello. Today we are going to work on an old Dell computer here that has crashed. The motherboard is pretty much shot, memory shot. This is the second board that's been in this computer, and it just doesn't want to run. It boots up, but it doesn't. It just crashes immediately. Anyway, like I said, this is the second board that's been in it. I bought the board off of eBay. It ran and worked for about, probably 3 years. It has a new power supply in it, or it's about 3 years old now. Also, power supply went bad in it to begin with and ruined the board. A few years ago. So it's still a good computer, still fast. I upgraded the memory to 4 gig of RAM. Dell says you can't run any more than that in this computer, but others have done it. But I really don't know if I want to try it or not and run it again. So anyway, we're going to be upgrading this again, or actually just repairing it here in the next few days. I have another used motherboard on order from eBay. The board is supposed to be good. The guy says that it ran flawlessly, so hopefully it does. Another 4 gig of RAM coming. I don't want to use the RAM that I had because I don't think it's any good. Instead of chancing I've got new RAM coming. One of the first things we're going to do here, I'm going to turn this around because the side comes off on this side. We're going to, there's a lever up here on this Dell here that you can actually take this cover off. Just set it aside somewhere. Now this computer here is really dirty inside as well. But before you ever get inside one of these, you really need a wrist strap like this one to take care of your static electricity. Just clamp it onto the frame of your computer. That way, when you go touching stuff in here, you're not going to shock it to death and ruin it. So, with that said, we're not going to do a whole lot tonight with it starting out, but I have already had the side off, and I've taken out the external video card that I put in here. I had a Zotac video card. It was much better than the one that's actually on the board itself. There's a integrated video card on it, and I just bypass that, shut it off in the BIOS program, and then run my own. That way I can game with it. It's not the best gaming computer, but it'd be the best one that I have. So I kind of go on the cheap here because I have multiple computers throughout the house. Anyway, I already took the video card out of it. It had a network card in it. I took it out. Didn't really need the network card because I believe it's integrated. But instead of using that integrated card, I used to use the one that I installed. However, now I don't use that at all. I use a USB wireless device plugged in to connect to my router. So I took that out. It also had a PCI TV capture board in it. I took it out because I don't really use it anymore. With these new flat screen TVs, we got those instead, so a little bit better deal there. Anyway, so what we got here is you got your 4 sticks of memory up in here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but let me turn my little flashlight on. Easy to hold here because I've got it on my bill. Anyway, there's my 4 chips of RAM, 1 gig each. We'll be taking all this out. Once I get it all out, I got to clean and blow out the computer real good and clean it up, and I'll be replacing it with a motherboard exactly the same as this one. Basically, because this is proprietary board, it's a Dell motherboard made specifically for this computer. So I can't just put any board in it. I suppose I could, but I would have to do some major repair back here on your piece back here, changing things around. So anyway, got another board coming the next couple days, hopefully. Memory coming, and then we'll get it running again, hopefully. I don't think the power supply is bad because it works and everything. Like I said, this was upgraded 3 years ago, and it's really worked well because the old power supply had burned up. So hopefully that's not the problem. We'll have to get a new one of those if it is. I have done something here prior to this video. I put in a hard drive. It's just a little micro SATA micro SATA drive out of a Acer. I'm trying to think. One of the small little tablet notebooks, netbooks, what they call them. It quit charging on me, so I ended up just tossing it. But I disassembled it before I did that. Took the hard drive out of the 160 gig hard drive. So I needed another hard drive for this, as it only had an 80 gig in it. So that helped me out right there. So I'm running 2 drives, a 160 gig mini micro SATA drive and a regular size SATA hard drive. And of course I got the DVD, CD-ROM, all that there. This is also running I believe it's a 3 gig AMD processor, which is upgraded. I upgraded it to the maximum on this board. It won't run any more than that. This is a 64-bit system, so I can run Windows 7 or Windows 8 or any other 64-bit operating system on this computer. So anyway, with that said, I'll leave it at that, and I'll come back and do some more video here when I get more done. Alright, I'm back. Today we're going to first take out the power supply. So we need to start by unplugging everything from the power supply. We'll be taking this out. So I'm going to start unplugging everything that needs to be unplugged. There's all kinds of plugs, so make sure you get everything. Just going to unplug the power right now. I don't believe I'm going to unplug these cables here just yet, which are plugging the components into the motherboard so that they'll run. Get these wires out here. And there again, I've got my alligator clip here. It's not clipping very good though. There. Get the big main piece right here. Plugging into the motherboard. So there. It should be all undone there. So you need to support it. Yeah, it looks like it might have. Now, I thought it might have something holding it, but I don't think it does. Nope. It's going to come right out of there. I'll try to anyway. Possibly. Ah, yes, it does have a clip back there in the back. Kind of holding it in. Being contrary. There's also clips on the top holding it. I do believe. Yeah. Let's shut the video off and see what's holding it. Well, after a rather long struggle, I don't know if you can see this or not, power supply here has slots, and that's what holds this thing in. I knew there might be something. But anyway, there's little pieces up here at the top that holds it on, and the back one just wouldn't let go. I don't know why, but I ended up getting it out. I had to kind of pry it and bend it a little bit just to get it out of there. It was stuck in there pretty good. But anyway, just metal. I bent it right back. So anyway, got the power supply all unplugged and out. So it's like a little dirty. Be easier to clean this way. And I'll get it some compressed air or something and blow everything off and clean it off real good. So anyway, that's the first step here. That frees up a little bit of space to work. I need to get all this plastic off of here and out. I really don't need to take the drives out. I might take this little drive out just because it hangs out a little bit. I want to be able to get the board in there without hitting everything, so I don't damage anything when I'm putting the new one back in. So there, got the power supply out. Next will be I may go ahead and take the memory out. Like I said, I'll probably get this stuff off of here, this plastic. May take the CPU out, the memory out of it. We'll see. Getting ready to take the memory out of this computer just to get it out of the way. Lots of wires still in the way. Memory's pretty easy to get in or get out. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get in. You got to get it all lined up right. But if you've never done this, at least this kind of computer has clips right here that you pop out like this, and it just kind of pops the memory up a little bit, and you just take it out. Now, as I'm holding this up here, you really are supposed to hold everything by the edges. You're not supposed to touch these, okay? The oils and grease and everything from your hands and your skin will cause premature corrosion on these things. Now I'm going to take these out right here because I'm not sure if they're good or not. I did one test on them, and they checked bad. Latest test, they checked good. So, but I don't trust this motherboard. So I don't know whether it's giving me a false reading on it or not. So right now I'm just going to set them aside and keep them. I don't know. I may try them later in a motherboard that I know works well, and do a MEM test on them just to see if they work. So anyway, well, there's the first chip out. So I'll just lay it aside. I'll go on and take the next one out. Now some computers, like this one, run the memory in memory banks. This has got a memory bank 1 and a memory bank 2. In other words, it takes 2 of them to run. It really doesn't, but it runs in pairs, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. Runs these 2 in a pair and these 2 in a pair. So some computers will run without memory in one, some won't. Generally, if you only have 2 RAM chips, you put them in the first bank, first 2 slots that I just took out, and run them that way instead of one in one bank and one in another bank. You just have to check with your instructions or computer manufacturer to see what they want you to do as far as memory. All different configurations. So there's usually none of them that are the same. So I'm going to have to find a new place to plug that grounding strap because it keeps popping off of there. So there, I've got the memory out. You can pop these clips back if you want. Memory's out of there and out of my way now, so I won't damage it while I'm trying to take the board out. While I'm here, I might as well go ahead and take this drive out of here. Now, I've only got 1 screw in this little bitty drive, but that's enough to hold it. I mean, if it were a drive or a computer that I was, had in a vehicle or something where it's jarring all the time, then I'd be worried about it coming loose. But since it's, not going anywhere, I just have 1 screw in it because that's all I can fit in there. Generally, they do sell a adapter box for this size of a drive that will actually turn it into a 3.5 inch drive, and it would fit right in this slot. Perfect. There you have little bitty hard drives, just little. 160 gig though. Alright. That one screw will hold it in there for now until I can get one of them boxes, or I may just leave it like that forever. Who knows? The other hard drive I don't have to take out of it because it's not in my way. So there you have that. Now I can go ahead and pop this off of the motherboard as well. I can take this cable clear out of here and out of my way. Let's put it someplace. And while I'm in here, I'll go ahead and undo the secondary drive. This orange one is the CD-ROM DVD. And notice, I don't know if you can see in this picture, there's actually two connections here that I can put another drive on this. This cable is actually plugged into the outlet here on the board that's closest to the back of the computer. I could probably doesn't matter, but just to make note, that's where I probably need to replug it when I get the other motherboard back in. I can go ahead and take this out off of the drive too. So there you go. Get that off there and out of the way. Now we've got a ribbon cable here, and I believe that this is going to the USB front ports, and it has, this specific computer has a has front USB ports, and looks like it has audio for headphones and microphone in the front jacks. So that's what that is. So we can go ahead and unplug this. You notice this red line on mostly on all computers most of the time, and this has been the standard for years. This, anytime you wonder which way a cable goes, a lot of times you have little cogs in these plastic pieces that only go in one way. But back in the with older computers, they didn't used to have these cogs. You could put them in any way. Well, the only way you could tell if it was backwards, hard drives used to use these cables. The hard drive light would stay on, or a floppy drive light would stay on, or something. You know you had it backwards. But anyway, the general rule of thumb here is that this red line on this cable points to the back of this computer. That's the rule of thumb on all these cables. So obviously these new ones don't have that, and they only go in one way. So, but that's the rule of thumb on that if you ever open up an old computer. Now, it's kind of hard to get this thing out of the way. I think I could stuff it up in here and just get it out of the way. I just have to remember it's up in there when I put the new one back in. That gets that up out of the way. These I can just kind of bend out of my way for right now. Actually, there's a place here I can actually put them in to hold them, I believe. Now to hold that up out of the way. Now this here, I'm going to have to unscrew to get out. This big plastic piece here. So, anyway, we do have another cable here. It looks like it's probably, I expect, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like it might be, this is the fan for the central processing unit. There's a big old fan right in this big shroud here, and it blows across. I don't know if you can see. It blows across the central processing unit heatsink, which is a monster. So there's a fan up in here that blows air across that. It either blows it across it or sucks it through, one or the other. Anyway, that's what this cable right here is. Obviously you can't see it. Right here, I had to unplug it underneath here. That runs the fan. This big plastic piece is held on screws. We'll try to get it off of there. Undo that there. Taking a minute to do here. The screw doesn't want to come out all the way. I'm going to support this here. See what happens. I think this opens up somehow here. I'm not sure exactly how yet. I'm getting down in there. Wonder. All right, we're back. Figured out it was just kind of stuck in there. It wasn't quite ready to come out, I guess. I don't know. It finally came out, but here's probably why it was stuck. Right here you have your heat sink compound, and that was causing some problems. So anyway, it was causing it to stick. That thing is actually screwed on to the plastic here. So anyway, got that off. I'll have to clean that heat sink off of there, off the central processing unit right there, right here. I'll have to clean that off and put some more heat sink compound on there, nice and neat. Now, if you can see that monstrous fan in there, that thing's huge. Need to get that all cleaned up and make sure it's working properly, because it has got to cool this central processing unit. So I'll stop the video right here for now, and the next time I'll probably get the motherboard out of it. Okay, we're going to try to take this board out real fast here. My battery's running low on my video. Got 5 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws actually that are holding this motherboard in. I'm going to go ahead and try to take these out of here and get them out as fast as I can to get this board out before my battery runs down on my video. Just take the screws out. This board may fall here in a second if I don't hold on to it. Okay. Well, it was supposed to. I know what's wrong. See these right here? I've got there's more screws in it holding it. Right here there's a combination. It actually holds the board and it holds this plastic heat, the heat sink apparatus. It helps hold that on. There, whoops! There you see your board just fell down a little bit. Of course, about dropped the screwdriver too. Okay, there we go. Board is loose. Now this piece of plastic I just took off here is going to have to go back in the new board. So I'm going to save that piece. There we got your board. Okay. There we go. Still got the central processing unit in it. I can take that out here in just a little while. You see it just has a lever. You just kind of pull out and pop it up like that and pull the CPU out. But I need to clean that thing off before I get it out of there. I don't want to get heat sink compound all over the pins. You got to be really careful with that stuff. Getting stuff on them. So anyway, there it is. I just got to wait on my new board to get here. put the new board in. So there you have it. Okay, we've got our new memory. Just got it in the mail today. Obviously, I've not even taken it out of the package yet, but it's all packaged. It was packaged pretty good, and bubble wrap and all that stuff. But as you notice, I have actually put the power supply back in before I'm putting my board in. Of course, I don't have my board yet. It's supposed to be here today as well, but they'll probably deliver it here in a little while. Anyway, it was easier to put the power supply in before the board because just the way it fit in there with the clips on the top. You notice I had trouble taking it out. I almost had as much trouble putting it back in, but it did go in, and I've got the thing all blowed out with compressed air. Took it outside and cleaned it all out and blew it out. It was pretty dirty. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now, just kind of waiting on the new board. And then I've got a few more things to do before I get it put in there. I need to clean the CPU off and put the CPU in the new board. Well, I now have a surprise here today. Yep, here it is. It's the motherboard. I'm not even taking it out yet, so anyway, it arrived a little bit later than the memory did. Arrived the same day. The memory was a little easier to carry, and we have a mailman that walks, so he has to deliver his larger packages later in the day. So anyway, we've got it. Don't have it unpacked yet. Getting ready to unpack it and go on with the project. So see you in the next segment. Alright, I've got the motherboard unpacked and checking it out here. It's a used motherboard, of course, so it's not perfectly clean, but I've never had much luck with mine being that way either, so usually they get pretty dirty. That's the old one right there. Still has the central processing unit in it, CPU. Right there, I've got to clean all the stuff off of it and put it in here. And I also got to put my memory in, the new memory. So the only thing I can see different in these two boards is that this new board I got looks like maybe a revised version. I don't know if you can see that or not. Revision A04. I don't know. You see that? It's revision A03. So this may just be a revised board here. So well, hopefully it'll work a little bit better. I'm not so sure that this board's bad, but I just can't get it to run properly. So it's either the memory or the board, and I'm not sure which one. So well, we'll give it a try anyway and replace it and see what happens. I've got the central processing unit switched over here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Got a AMD Athlon 64-bit X2. It's I believe it's a 3 gig or 3.1. I can't remember exactly. They never run what they say they're running. So anyway, revision 04 of the motherboard, and my radio's coming on there, my ham radio. Anyway, this is the new memory we've put in here. Two different types, but at least you have to keep the same type in the banks. Should anyway. That way it'll run properly. That's the new memory. 6400 is what that is. It's the fastest memory you can put in this motherboard. And like I had talked before about Dell saying the restriction on RAM in this motherboard is 4 gig of RAM. So I've got 1 gig chips in here, 1 gigs. Now I have read reviews where some people have actually put larger chips in these boards, like 2 gig chips, but that's really not advisable, I don't think. Over the long run, anytime you overclock something or put more in it than is specified, I think you might run into some trouble later on. It might work for a little while, but I might try it later on, but I'm not interested in running the board, at least not right now. So I do take some chances on boards, you know. I mean, it just matters how much money you got, how much you want to spend running stuff. So anyway, here's my new board. I'm getting ready to put it in here in just a little bit. I'll be putting a Zotac, I believe that's how you pronounce it, a Zotac graphics accelerator or video card in for gaming. About the only game I like to play is World of Tanks online, which is an awesome game. So it takes a special video card to play it properly and have good graphics. Anyway, there you go. I will see you in the next segment. We're now getting ready to put the motherboard in and getting the wires out of the way here. I'm going to go ahead and try to plug in somewhere with my alligator clip. I don't know if you can see that. Got my grounding device here. Try to do this where everybody can see it. You really don't want to be touching everything on these motherboards, but it's kind of hard to do and get in here properly without touching it. So put it in here, and line it up with the holes. There we go. Lined it up with all the screw holes, and here in a minute I'm going to get all the screws in. I won't video all that, but there you have the motherboard installed in the computer casing. So I'll get the all the screws put in it, and then we'll come back. So now we have all the screws put in. So motherboard's secure. I'm going to plug this in. Oh, I've got that right there. Some other cords here we'll plug in. Remember, the red always goes towards the back. Maybe a little kind of hard to put it back in. It's easier to plug some of this stuff back in before you get too much in. That way you can see where you're plugging it. Get everything plugged back in. Let's put it into the hard drive. See, these have little pieces on here where you only put them in one way. So, plug our thing in. Okay, let's see. That's the secondary drive here. The primary, I've actually got to put in again because I had taken it out. Like I said, I'm only going to hold this in with one screw for now, simply because it's a light little drive and I'm not really going to be moving this computer anywhere. This 160 gig hard drive, it really pretty good little drive. I was able to save it out of a little bitty laptop. Laptop kind of bit the dust. Couldn't charge it anymore. They just don't make stuff to hold up anymore, I guess. I don't know. As long as that just holds that still, we'll be okay. Let's. I'm gonna plug this into the primary drive. SATA drive 1. That. There's that. Okay. I'll plug my power back into the secondary drive. Put them. Let's see if right there. That'll hold them, I suppose. Okay. Get this out of the way. Don't want to stay out of the way, does it? Okay, there we go. Now, the fun part's going to be putting this heatsink back on. And before we do that, we've got to put some heatsink compound on it. So I don't want a whole lot of this stuff on. Just a little bitty drip. Will probably be way plenty. You can get this at electronic stores or probably even Radio Shack. I don't know if you can see it or not. This heatsink compound, just put a little drip right on the center part of that central processing unit there. And then we've got to put this on. Hopefully I got the bracket on properly here. That's it. Actually, before I do that, I've got to tighten the bracket down. Sorry about that. If I don't have that bracket on, I can go either way. This one's fit properly. Okay. Okay. Right down on there. Like so. Now it screws down. There. Nice and snug. Well, that should keep our central processing unit cool, hopefully. Fan blows across the heat sink here. Alright, now I think that we will probably go ahead and put the video card in it. Dell's kind of streamlined this. You can just pop this open. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, just pop that open. And I always try to keep my hands off of the card itself if I can. Anyway, it's hard to do sometimes. Lined up there. Snap it into place. Now I had a couple more cards in here. I don't think I'm going to put back in here now. I had a TV capture board, and I had another network card in it, and I just don't need those cards now. I didn't use them before, so I don't need them. Just uses more electricity and more resources for the board. So anyway, I'm not going to put them back in now. So I may put a modem or something in it to fax or something later on, but that's all I'm going to put in for now. I do have a couple open slots here. I've got to find some covers for here soon. I'd like to get that before I actually boot it up. And that helps keep the inside of the computer cool too. If you have too many openings, it kind of runs the flow of air through everything. So you have to have that. You really need those covered, whether you got cards in them or covers on. Alright, we're getting there. See you in the next segment. Alright, well, there it is, all rebuilt. Haven't powered it on yet, it's ready to go. But here's the monitor we'll be putting it on for now. Normally I run it on a TV like Vizio, but anyway, I run it with a HDMI. That way I get really good graphics. But anyway, here in just a bit I'm going to power it up and see what it does. Alright, obviously we have her put together and it's actually on, if you can see the light. But anyway, it is turned on. I've got my screen up there, so I've made some settings in the BIOS there, and then I'm getting ready to install the operating system. So here we go. So far it's running. We'll see if it's going to work. We have finished building the computer back up, and there you have it.